My name is Ian and welcome to Planted, my gardening channel on YouTube. I started doing these videos in May of 2020 and we're in for another season, and every year I make a few adjustments. So this is my garden in the end of April. There's not a lot going on, but I want to prepare you for explosive growth, and that's what I do every single year. I overwinter tender plants in my greenhouse, and then in late April and May I plant them up in the garden. And I want you to see what it looks like before things start growing. So for my new subscribers and new people to the channel, I'm going to go around the garden and show you a few choice plants. This is my beautiful banana that came through the winter, and it will have huge leaves later in the season. This is a plant called Disporum that came through the winter beautifully. Big arching stems. I've spoken about this before, but I want to show you how it's an ongoing process. There's no tricks, there's nothing suddenly growing that wasn't growing earlier. This is a plant called Alocasia that I was given last year, and I thought that it had died, but I'm pleased to say that all the roots and all the shoots are intact, and that plant is going to be a major feature point. Let's have a look in the little greenhouse and see what I've got going. This greenhouse is tiny, 6 feet by 4 feet, and there's a seedling cobea that I featured recently. And I've got a few other little precious plants. Oh, this is really interesting. This is the fig that was featured last week in the previous video, and it's already putting out a bud. So I'm very happy about that. The spectacular furry-leafed tibucina, which has beautiful blue flowers. And down here, I've got assembled some containers. One of my favorite plants, very old-fashioned, it's the ivy-leaf geranium. Those are going to drape over my front steps. But I want to share you this. We have a close-up of my thermometer, and we're reading 62 degrees. Outside it's about 45, and that temperature gain is all because of sunlight. No artificial heat. So that environment is a beautiful environment for growing plants, and that's exactly what they do. Now, this is a plant called Tetrapanax, and as expected, the top has died back. We've got no shoots, and it's borderline tender. But this is where patient comes in. We can see down here we've got some shoots. So this plant is set for explosive growth. And I'm going to wait until I know exactly what's alive before I cut off what's dead. And that patience is very important. This is the same plant. The plant has put out its roots, and the heat from the basement has made the plant not only put out shoots, but also establish itself. Now, I don't want this plant to take over, so I'll probably dig those up once they're a bit more established, and I'll have some plants that I can give away. Over here we have Arundel Donuts, big hit last year, and here we are again putting out its tender new shoots. So the reason I go on about this is that a lot of my plants in my garden are added every year because they're on the tender side. But I've just shown you a bunch of plants that stay in my garden year-round, and I just need to know where they are. This is a little plant called an anemone, and I thought I'd lost it. It's come through the winter and finally put out leaves, so very happy about that. Here we've got the everlasting sweet pea. I've featured this before, and sure as spring has sprung, here we are the end of April, and we've got these little shoots just starting to come out. This plant will grow 4 feet in 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. Very prolific grower. Very happy to have that. Here's Clematis rugucci that I planted spring of last year, and I have high hopes that this will put out a lot more growth and a lot more flowers. So very happy to find that. And it's important that you go through your garden and you identify where all your plants are, so that you don't accidentally trample on them or have contractors get in there and damage the plants. This is my schizophragma that I acquired a few weeks ago, and the buds are exploding. I'm going to very carefully train that up against the wall so it can stick to the wall with its little tendrils. So that's the garden. Look at it now. There's not a lot going on, but get ready. Explosive growth is coming, and the planted courtyard will be back. Thank you so much. Go and plant something. Bye for now.